Hi, I'm Dwight De Leon, political reporter for Rappler, and today, let's do a reaction video doon sa inilabas na pahayag ni former House Speaker Martin Romualdez defending himself from allegations in connection with the flood control corruption scandal. Let's go.
For a long time, I chose to remain silent. I did so out of respect for the legal process. But there comes a point when silence is no longer prudence. My silence has been abused and weaponized to build a narrative that is false, twisted, and unfair.
As someone who covered the House of Representatives under the leadership of Martin Romualdez for a number of years, I could say that part of his strategy includes letting other people speak kahit nung mga panahon na frequent nung batikos sa kanya ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa media. Tatandaan nyo at the time, tinatawag ni VP Sara si Romualdez na tambaluslos, hindi siya directly sinagot ni Romualdez. Instead, he let other people do the talking. That included si Majority Leader niya at the time, si Manix Delipe, si Senior Deputy Speaker JJ Suarez, even Zaldico noong may mga allegations na si VP Sara patungkol sa budget, and members of the Young Guns na sa simula ng 20th Congress na-promote na into higher positions noong mga panahong si Romualdez pa yung Speaker of the House. But today, understandably, itong mga talking heads na ito ay hindi na nagsasalita in defense of Romualdez, given na yung equity din, yung kapangyarihan din ni Romualdez ay humina ever since he lost the speakership.
I voluntarily submitted my affidavit to the ICI. I provided the information and documents asked of me. I did not hide, I did not run. I am today authorizing the immediate public release of the affidavit I submitted.
As of today, as I am making this video, he hasn't given the media a copy of his affidavit, but we will surely report on it once it becomes publicly available.
Now let us address the most absurd accusation of all, that I am supposedly the mastermind of this corruption scheme.
Maraming dituturo kay Romualdez bilang mastermind ng flood control corruption scandal, and that includes former Senate President Chis Escudero, although last year pa naman talaga sila nagtuturoan at nag-unravel yung away nila after magkandaleche-leche noong 2025 budget. If you remember, nailantad sa publiko yung mga blanco sa BICAM report ng budget for 2025 at nagamit pa yon ng Duterte camp to their advantage. Days after the passage of the 2025 national budget, Zaldico was removed as chairman of the House Appropriations Committee. It was very telling at the time that something was amiss given na hindi siya nabigyan ng graceful exit. It was no less than the president's son, Majority Leader Sandro Marcos. At the time, he was a senior deputy majority leader who moved to declare the appropriations chairmanship vacant. It was Speaker Romualdez at the time who approved that motion. And we have also watched the videos of Zaldico claiming that it was Romualdez who coordinated with him patungkol sa insertion ng billions of pesos in the national budget, supposedly, allegedly, upon the instructions of President Marcos.
I was the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, but the House of Representatives is only one part of the branch of government, the legislature. The national budget is not conceived, executed, implemented, bidded out, supervised, and completed by one congressman or even by Congress alone, and certainly not by the Speaker of the House.
Romualdez spent a significant portion of this video explaining the budget process. And he's saying na kung may irregularidad, it's not just because of the House, but also the Senate and the executive branch kung saan nag-originate ang budget proposal bago pa ito busisiin ng Kongreso.
And Representative Toby Tiangco, who has been very vocal and upfront on this issue over the past months, was himself a vice chair of the Appropriations Committee in the previous Congress. So I have to ask, if there were real concerns about irregularities in the budget process, why were these not formally raised during the deliberations or even during the plenary?
May special call out dito si Romualdez para sa kanyang distant relative na si Toby Tiangco, who was really instrumental and catapulting to the national spotlight yung discussions on the secretive nature of how budget amendments were handled in the House of Representatives. Hindi po natin alam kung ano yung naging reason ng falling out between Romualdez and Tiangco, although we can siguro cite some incidents from last year. Si Tiangco voiced out his reservations patungkol sa ginawang pag-impeach ng House of Representatives kay Vice President Sara. Tiangco even cited it as among the reasons kung bakit nag-underperform ang mga senatorial candidates ni Pangulong Marcos noong eleksyon. To Romualdez's point though, ito nga pong si Congressman Tiangco didn't vote to reject the approval of the budget in the House of Representatives from the years 2022 to 2024. Ito yung sa budgets for fiscal years 2023 to 2025. Tanging mga miyembro lang po, the three-member Makabayan Bloc, yung mga bumoto laban sa budget.
If corruption were to occur in a magnitude made known to us over the past months, then it's clear that the real corruption does not happen at the level of the general legislative approval alone. It happens at the level of execution of the General Appropriations Act. It happens when projects are implemented.
There's something quite interesting about this part, and I'll tell you about it after this one.
That is why command responsibility is far more logically relevant in the executive branch, where there is actually supervision, operational control, and implementation on the ground, than in the collegial legislative body, where constitutional role is deliberation and appropriation.
Covering Romualdez as a House Speaker, I could say that he is loyal to his cousin. Dito rin kasi sa Pilipinas, historically, between the House and the Senate, it is the House that struggles more when it comes to maintaining its independence from the executive branch. The path to the House speakership is relatively easier if you have the blessing, the endorsement of the president. Romualdez built that image for himself. Someone that has the ears or had the ears of the president na pinagkakatiwalaan ni Pangulong Marcos na palaging kasama nito every time lalabas ito ng ibang bansa. I'm saying that because when a statement by the former speaker points fingers at the executive branch, it is not difficult to imagine that there may be a shift. Kumbaga, parang ang sinasabi ni Romualdez dito, bakit sa akin nakatingin? Ang nag-i-implement ng mga proyekto ay ang ehekutibo. And when we say executive, that means the government agencies and their heads of agency, such as DPWH, Department of Budget and Management. At the end of the day, sino ba ang nag-head ng branch of government na ito? Walang iba kundi si Pangulong Marcos. So I doubt that Romualdez approved that statement and read that statement without considering the implications, that it would appear as if he is taking a swipe at his cousin. Yung keyword pa naman dito is command responsibility. Is he sending a signal? Is he sending a message to Malacanang? That is the question.
If I were truly involved in a fraudulent scheme of this nature, then the first place one would expect to see that pattern would be in my own district, in the projects most easily associated with me. You would have seen it in Tacloban, but I say this with absolute certainty. You won't see it in my district. My district has 0 ghost and 0 substandard flood control projects.
Just to put this into perspective, hindi kailangan sa distrito ng isang national figure mag-reflect ang irregularidad. Actually, kung ang kabalbalan po ay nasa distrito mo, then that will be put under a microscope dahil mas likely na ma-scrutinize yun ng media, ng iyong mga political opponents. That said, I published a report back in September or October last year detailing how SunWest, the company founded by Zaldico, bagged 21 projects worth 6 billion pesos in Region 8, Eastern Visayas in recent years. Hulaan niyo po kung saang distrito sa Eastern Visayas. Lahat po ito sa isang distrito lang, sa distrito ni Congressman Martin Romualdez. Yung contract windfall po ng Sandro sa Leyte began when Romualdez was majority leader and Ko became a congressman in 2019. As a reporter, actually po na-curious ako bakit hindi nabanggit itong findings na ito when the Independent Commission for Infrastructure referred Romualdez's situation, Romualdez's case, whatever you called it, sa ombudsman. And to add, there was also a Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism report, PCIJ investigative report, that said Romualdez was among the top recipients of allocables, public works allocables. Critics say ito po ay pork sa past national budget proposals.
I was not a part of the BICAM and the small committee budget deliberations. Yes, I was updated on the general outcomes of the deliberations, but I had no visibility with regard to the specific details of the discussions, including particular amendments or insertions approved during these closed-door deliberations.
Totoo po yun, Romualdez wasn't part of the BICAM. He was also not part of the small committee, pero katulad nga po sa sinabi niya sa earlier part ng video, may tinatawag po tayong command responsibility. Ito pong small committee, na-abolish na po yan last year, but this practice was really problematic because after the House passed the budget on third reading, tsaka pa lamang po pag-uusapan yung amendments by a small group of people na ginagawa po nila ito sa isang closed-door meeting na walang minutes, walang live stream. Matagal na po yung tradisyon ng House. I checked the House journals. As early as 2010, nabanggit po doon yung pagtatalagaan ng miyembro sa isang small committee para i-handle yung budget amendments. Hanggang ngayon ay wala pong mention ng salitang small committee sa House Rules Handbook. Important to note that while Romualdez wasn't part of the small committee in the 19th Congress, noong panahon niya as Speaker, mayroon po siyang karanasan sa small committee. Noong siya po ay House Majority Leader sa House of Representatives sa panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte, siya po ay naitalaga bilang miyembro ng small committee, so he definitely knew how it worked. So, in a world where Romualdez is cleared of wrongdoing, hypothetical lang po, ang pagkakamali niya ay hinayaan niyang makarry over itong problematic na practice na ito to the 19th Congress noong siya na po ang Speaker ng Kamara. He only moved to abolish it when public outcry became inescapable and it was already too late for him.
Two people were instrumental in making those budget decisions, Cheese Escudero and Zaldico.
No surprise there na binanggit niya si Cheese, and no surprise either na minention niya si Zaldico, given that Zaldi in his videos claimed that Romualdez benefited from the kickbacks, nakinabang daw at pinadala daw sa pamamagitan ng mga maleta.
I will not allow myself to be turned into the scapegoat so that others who are actually accountable can walk away clean. I will not be the fall guy for other people's corruption. What I ask of the office of the Ombudsman is simple. Follow the rule of law and due process. This is a serious matter and it should be handled with seriousness, not with haste, theatrics, or shortcuts.
So Romualdez published this video statement April 21, which was a day after the Ombudsman formally asked the Sandigan Bayan to issue a precautionary whole departure order against Romualdez. So basically, ang goal ay pigilan si Romualdez na makalabas ng bansa. April 20 din po kasi nakasecure ng travel clearance itong si Romualdez mula sa House Secretary General para raw siya ay makalipad ng Singapore para sa isang medical procedure. Sa press con po ni Ombudsman Remulla, Boying Remulla noong April 21, he expressed worries na baka raw kapag hinayaang lumabas o makalabas ng bansa si Romualdez, hindi na ito bumalik. So the Romualdez camp fought back. They didn't like that claim. His lawyers accused Remulla of being biased, of prejudging the case, and they want Remulla and the entire office of the ombudsman to inhibit from the investigation.
And to those who think they can throw me under the bus to save themselves, this is what I have to say to you. I am ready to defend my name.
Romualdez mentioned that he will not be a fall guy. And when I heard that, ang naalala ko po ay si Zaldico. Because in one of his videos last year, sinabi niya rin na he won't allow himself to be a poster boy of the lies, supposed lies of the administration. And when you think about it, these two people, these two gentlemen, Romualdez, Zaldico, they used to be on top of the world at the peak of their political careers. Last year or 2 years ago, Romualdez was being floated as a presidential in the 2028 elections. Although, of course, it was going to be a long shot if we look at the surveys. He never admitted to harboring that aspiration, but either way, that kind of political future will have to take a backseat because as of now, he is just fighting to not go to jail. I'm Dwight De Leon, and for more videos contextualizing Philippine politics, visit the Rappler website or download the Rappler app.